So you tell the boys,
Hmm.
they take their cues from you.
Hmm.
What was their response?
Their response was,
Did they understand? Did they have questions?
they had questions and they did understand, and they knew that their mom is a fighter. They know that their mom is a warrior. As you know, we had a special needs child, so their big sister, who is no longer with us in this room, she's an angel for us all. They knew that if anybody could beat and kick cancer's butt, it's
Is
gonna
is
be
their mom?
their mom. And I say that not in any kind of haughty or egotistical way, but they
In
signed
an
up
empowered way.
in an empowered way.
Mhm.
Exactly. They signed up and they were there. And they were there for the surgery. And they were there to call me. And they were there to make sure mom was okay. And they knew that I was going to then give up the lattes. And 35 pounds later, a year later, I'm in the gym and I'm walking and I'm
And
doing,
sending us the
and I'm
pictures.
sending everybody the pictures because that's my way of saying,
I'm
you
good.
you
Yes.
gotta do this too,
Right.
because your diagnosis may not be my diagnosis, but we're all aging, and how we age gracefully, it's up to us.
Right. So let's talk about the treatment after the diagnosis.
Mm.
You had options.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So talk about the
Yeah.
options and
I
that process of deciding what path to take.
So I had already had a very dear friend that had had a diagnosis the year earlier, 11 months earlier to be exact. We were in Charlotte when she found out, actually,
Wow.
for a conference. And she chose to have a double mastectomy because her mother had had breast cancer before. And so I went into that visit with the doctor saying, hey, I'm not attached to these. So if you need to take them off, let's get it done. Whatever I need to do to be well. That was my mantra going in the door. And she said, I think that's overkill. I'll do what you want. If you want a breast reduction, I'll do that too. But this isn't what you have. This cancer, if you gotta have a cancer, is the best one to have. My cancer, my particular cancer, and this is another thing, is fueled by estrogen and progesterone. So it is double positive negative, right? So that's a pretty good cancer to have. And what I now know is I began my cycle at age 10 and I did not end it until 58.
Wow.
That's a lot of estrogen going on. And so women still have estrogen. That's why they take hormone pills, right? Some women. And I didn't do that. So I still had a lot of estrogen. So my cancer is fueled by estrogen. So now I take an anti-estrogen pill every day for the next 5 years.
Okay.
So that's one thing. But I also take a calcium pill because one of the side effects of anti-estrogen is affecting the bones potentially. But coupled with that calcium pill, I have to take a vitamin D, right? Because we already said
Right.
we're deficient, right?
Exactly.
So that's what I had to do for a long time. But my radiation or my treatment after my surgery, the day after Thanksgiving on last November 29th, is I only had to do radiation for 5 radiation sessions. So I was blessed.
Which occurred what level of frequency? Like weekly?
Yeah, daily.
Daily.
For
So
5 days. For 5 days. I did have a weekend in there. So, and that was good because Pat said, nope, I just want to do Monday through Friday and get it done. Well, no, because that wasn't the schedule they had. But I didn't know what I didn't know.
Okay.
It was not a cakewalk. It's grueling. I suffer from vertigo because
As a result?
as a result of the radiation. And what you don't realize is radiation is these beams into your body. So think about it as you're ingesting this radiation that then comes out. So I burned 2 weeks till a month after. So that was shocking because no one really prepared me
Like
to
you had a
start.
sensation?
No, like my skin turns dark and blistered after 2 to 4 weeks later. And I'm
It
thinking,
erupted? Like it just
yeah,
surfaced?
yeah, yeah. Well, your clothes or anything
Yeah,
can irritate. So
gotcha.
you're thinking, what is going on? Why is this happening now? The radiation ended. I only had 5. So think about people who have a lot more than that.
Yeah.
So I share that part of the journey as well because you need to lubricate yourself. You need to keep
Mhm.
your skin lubricated so it isn't as harsh. It doesn't crack.
Yeah.
You need to wear a sports bra to keep everything kind of
Yeah,
compressed
yeah.
so you're not feeling. There's a lot, but
Okay.
I chose to have a lumpectomy. I had 2 spots. So they did what they did to the one that they detected had the cancer cells around it, but they did the same thing to the second one that was benign.
Okay.
Thank
Just to
God,
be on the safe side.
just to be on the safe side.
Okay. And
So
only on one breast.
only on one breast, but
Okay.
remember, they first saw
Mhm.
something on this side.
Yeah, that's
So,
what's asking.
like you, I'm like, is there really something? So, what Pat said when they were doing, I said, well, can't you just take it out over there too? They was
Uh-huh.
like, no, ma'am, we can't do that. But we're going to
Because that's
continue to look
extra
at,
surgeon time. They got to be
and it's no
justified
evidence of,
for the
yeah,
insurance
yeah,
to
yeah.
pay.
I'm like, just take it
I
out.
know you're here.
You're here. Just take it out. I'm good with it. No, so we just watch it. We're watching this one. We're watching over here. We're just watching everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah,
does
yeah.
seem very prudent. But
Yeah, yeah.
okay, so you had options to have the breast removed. Your daughter said not necessary. You opted then to do the 5 days of radiation and the pills and the supplements
Correct.
and change of diet.
And change of diet.
Okay.
Change of diet is change of lifestyle,
Yeah.
actually. So I think too, when you have someone like myself that felt
Mhm.
like I was doing good things for my body, the only vice I had was the lattes every
Mhm.
day. No other things, no fried food. I've been a pescatarian for 20 years. So you're thinking, I'm eating healthy, but
Mhm.
there's always the room for improvement and intentionality. And you and I know clean eating is real.
Exactly. Yeah.
Clean eating is
For
real.
everything, for
And
every aspect of our lives.
We're busy, so we're not growing our vegetables. You may be Don now. I don't know what you're doing, but I do not.
Right.
And I do eat out all the time, but I'm very intentional about what I have and how simple I can try to make that.
Absolutely. I mean, and there are things, we have to take baby steps, I guess. And, some people take leaps, but make a decision to take some action. One of the conversations that I had with the cardiologist, because heart disease is prevalent in my family, and he just explained that you have no control what goes on in the kitchen in those restaurants. So he said, you just have to be conscientious. They have to do what's cost effective. So they're not going to, you may at home cook with avocado oil and grapeseed oil. But in those restaurants, that just costs too much. And he's like, you just have to be aware of that. So he's, it's like just moderation, maybe just once a week. So those are just some informed decisions that we have to make. I tend to be conscientious about if I'm going to eat out. I try to do a restaurant that has a chef versus just someone who prepares food and is taking something out of a plastic bag and putting it in
That's
water
right.
and splashing it on your plate.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't do fast food restaurants and mass produce foods.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so, those are just some decisions that I think we have to start making about our lifestyle.
And dyes. I
Mhm.
mean, red dyes are,
Banned in other
yeah,
countries.
yeah, red dyes are a thing.
Mhm.
And finding those places, and it's not inexpensive. So I'm not sitting here from a point of privilege saying,
Mhm.
go and spend $30 on a lunch.
Right.
But to your point, you may need to identify those places that cook cleaner than
Mhm.
others, and that may be your treat for the
Exactly.
week,
Right.
right?
Right.
But you go to your organic store and you make sure you're getting the right vegetables, the right combination of
Mhm.
vegetables and fruits.
Right.
Maybe you juice at home and you save the dollars
Right.
there. You're just going to have to, it's going to take planning,
Exactly.
more planning, and not sacrificing quality
Mm-hmm.
for quantity.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I just encourage people because I know this can be overwhelming. There's so much information out there, floating out there, the do's and the don'ts, to just take your time and research one thing a week,
Mhm.
maybe. So if you do one thing a week, you focus on one change per week, you make 52 changes in your diet, in the course of a year. That has to put you in a better
Mhm.
position than you were the year before. So,
Incorporating water into your diet.
yeah,
How important is that? I'm even trying, and I know you've done a better job than I have, not taking your water from the plastic bottles, taking it from another source.
right,
So trying that, just one thing
right.
could mean the world
Right.
a
Yeah,
difference.
because we're learning about microplastics, and this is going to probably be another special edition show to talk about because I know so many women who have children being diagnosed, young boys for some reason, and I really want somebody to dive deep in this with schizophrenia. And I say that when I'm looking at the women who I know, like all their boys are the similar ages, and I started to think, and this leads itself to our conversation even about cancer. Our children are probably the first generation that their entire lives have been microwaves, plastic bottle water from plastic bottles,
Cell phones.
cell phones, processed,
Mhm.
ultra processed, preserved,
Mhm.
laden foods,
Mhm.
the dyes, like their entire existence.
Mhm.
So I can't imagine how that might be showing up
Mhm.
in some of these
Mhm.
dis-ease
Mhm.
that our body
Mhm.
are experiencing,
Mhm. Mhm.
which
Mhm.
can be cancer and
I
show up
agree.
in other ways
I
within
agree.
our brain. Dementia's on the rise.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking, when you talk about brain health, because I started doing these brain fit tips now, because between dementia and schizophrenia, mental health, it's all connected to what we're putting in our bodies.
Mhm.
And cancer's right there.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
summing it all up and trying to put a bow on it, we talked about advocacy, asking for the test, understanding the test, asking your doctors a series of questions as to under what circumstances they should get certain tests, understanding whether you have dense breasts or not, and what the doctors need to put orders in for your diagnostics. What other things?
Sister circles. You mentioned sister circles, and you've known us
Mhm.
for 30 years, but you didn't know all of us had dense breasts.
Right.
I think sharing is caring. I think we could create different pods. There's no magic number, there's no magic time, but sharing. We're getting of age now. My husband and I laugh because we get at social events and we're in a huddle in a corner and you're talking about Medicare and you're talking about, but no,
Does
you
it cover this? Right, right.
but now we do Zooms with my travel groups,
Yeah.
and say we're gonna unpack these things because I've experienced this.
Right.
You're our agent, right?
Right.
You've experienced some things and
Yeah.
talking to your clients. Share that.
Right.
Share that.
Exactly.
Sharing is caring. So I think in addition to asking all the questions, advocating for ourselves and others, taking someone with you, sis, I know I'm getting this results today. I just want another set of ears, a hand to hold, depending. So I show up. People
Yeah.
may tell me something. Once I put it on
Pat
my
shows
calendar,
up. We'd be like, where are you? You in pictures with songs? Don't she live? I don't know
and
how
then
you
by six
end up
o'clock,
everywhere. Yeah, you'll be in 3 different cities in one day.
I will show up And I think God has given me the gift of presence. And I
Mm.
now see it as a gift that
Mhm.
He's given me
Yeah.
because we can't do this life alone.
No.
This life is too complicated, complex, hard,
Yeah.
with so much joy.
Yeah.
And at the end of this journey, I want to say, I have been blessed and I have been a blessing
Yeah.
to many.
Yeah. I love
And
that.
and impact.
Mhm.
Impact. That dash, what's the
Mhm.
impact of that
Yeah.
dash? Did you just occupy space? You know, I know we're cute, but cute can only go so far. What
Exactly.
did you do with the platform
That
and the
you were given.
gifts that God
Mhm.
gave you?
And we
There's a
all have
reason.
them.
We all have them. We
Yes.
all have them.
We do.
And so I'm speaking, I am directly speaking to that woman out there
Mhm.
that nurtures the whole neighborhood. She will take a loaf of bread like your mother
Mhm.
and I'm going to say a bucket of fried chicken. I don't eat fried chicken, but you take whatever resources you
Yeah.
have and you make sure everybody is fed. You make sure everybody is clothed. But are
Mhm.
you making sure your health is good? Are you
Absolutely.
making sure your heart is well?